everyone. I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. This is Steve coming back with another video. So before we go into this, just to mention the machine language project is still on for tonight. I'm saying tonight because it's actually 2:50 in the morning here for Friday morning. So yes, join us tonight. I'll go ahead and put the link up for the Google Hangout so we can still all join and everything. And of course, Siggy will be joining us. He's been working on a lot of stuff. You've probably seen the posts and everything. And we still have the other people. So the purpose of this video is to try to organize my thoughts and trying to put some graphics together. I still haven't been able to implement them into the machine language project, but I have a good idea of what kind of design I kind of want to put into the project and what kind of evolve it as we go. But what I've done is I've created some tiles here, and maybe we'll go over some examples here. For example, like right here. Here's some, this is old-fashioned stuff, but here's just basically some of the graphics and stuff that I've, actually this is from one of my older projects that I've actually done already. And then we'll kind of go from there and just kind of play by ear here. Okay, so join us here. Okay, so we're back here. So I wanted to demonstrate a few different things. First of all, I wanted to mention that if you've been watching Commodore 64 very basic tutorials, I did demonstrate this in one of the videos. I think it was like video 11 or something like that. It was either, I think it was the second to the last one that I created in the series. And I'm showing you this screen here because this is actually the graphics I've implemented behind the scenes here. I haven't put it on the screen here yet. And I was actually working on creating some kind of a design for the simulation game going forward. And we can continue to evolve this. And of course, we'll learn to do this more using the character editor that's actually built in the machine language project. We'll probably go over that, tonight or whatever. But I wanted to show you, I've been playing with some of the sprites and stuff like that, and just trying to come up with some interesting graphics. And I just kind of been playing with tiles, kind of setting them side by side, and see I create little ladders and stuff like that, and just to kind of move the project forward. Now, also, what's really good about this video, I'm going to stop this right here, is I'm going to explain as best as I can how multicolor works. The reason why this is important because this project is going to use multicolor character set designs. Now, every character you're looking at on the screen here, if I had to go, for example, up here, we'll just use this as a guide here. And my cursor is black, so you won't see it since there's no defined character for its standard background. I'm going to use the keyboard, and I'm going to press the tab key since we're using the Vice C64 emulator. And I'm going to use the control key to get a multicolor. I'm going to press the number, I believe it's 6. And I should have a blue or a green or something like that. A green. I don't know if you can see that right there. I'll enlarge it just for a second so you can take a look. This right here is a multicolor graphic. Okay, so if you put these side by side, you get graphic characters. And that's what you see common in the Commodore 64 games. Now, the one I just used here, this is multicolor, but there's also something called standard. And let me demonstrate that here. So if I go and I press the tab key and I press the 6 key also, depending on where I'm at the line here, you'll see that there's now a standard character, and I'll enlarge that here again for you. You notice that it doesn't have any of the same background colors. Now, it reflects the background color since that's already a part of the standard character, but it doesn't reflect the other two different colors that's already added, implemented into the character itself, which is created by setting specific bits side by side, which is why I really wanted to kind of explain this next. I'm going to go back to an old way of teaching here just for a moment. This is a book I've been using. It's the Commodore 64 graphics, if you can kind of see that there. It's a compute book. You can get them online. I'll try to post a PDF in here, but on page 108, chapter 2, it looks like, on color there, there's actually a good section here. It talks about the multicolors, and we'll go over this. First, I'm going to show them to you. And if you want to make a screenshot of this, go ahead and make a screenshot, or like I said, have the PDF, and you can kind of take a look there. It's on page, my camera ever focuses here. And my camera's kind of weird there tonight. Okay, so I had to move it out of the way, but you can see what's important to look is side by side here. You see the 128? This represents 1 pixel starting in the left-hand column here. Camera's going to lose focus again here. It's picking up the black areas. So anyways, if you can see that, pause again. So I repositioned again. So apparently if I get too close to the screen, it starts getting fuzzy. But anyways, first column, second column, third, fourth, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now take note of these numbers at the top. 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. These represents the calculations we're going to do for each row. Now, anytime you've seen a bit like this with a background, this represents a 0. So in this example, there would be nothing there since it's a white space, like on a piece of graph paper, there would be nothing there until you colored it in. Look at the next example here. Now these are colored in, but these two side by side on these exact bits here, 0 and 1, are going to create what's called a multicolor for this mode only, which actually, according to my reference here, is memory location 53282. And then we got a 1 and a 0 kind of reverse of this side by side to create another multicolor, which is actually 53283. And then you have the 1 and the 1, so the two bits side by side, that would represent the memory locations for the screen memory background color 55296 through 56319. My arms get too tired for me to hold that up much longer. But that's how multicolors are created. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you a piece of graph paper here, hopefully to try to break it down a little bit more for you. Hopefully people can grasp this, and I'm going to pause here a second. I'm back, and I'm holding up the piece of graph paper to show it to you here. You could really use a robotic arm in this case. Anyways, pay attention to these ones here, what I showed you earlier. Notice that there's a 1 here, that's in yellow. I don't know if you can see that. And this 0, this would be the background color, so we wouldn't have any color there, just for maybe that's the screen memory or whatever. And then you can see a 0 and a 1 here on this side to represent the other part of the multicolor in this example. And then you look right here, you see the 1 and the 0. This is going to be identical to this since we still have the 1 and the 0 side by side. So when you put those 1s and those 0s side by side, you're going to get those colors to figure out. And if you look at the brick wall, it's exactly where those colors are coming from. So it's set in a little yellow down there and a little yellow down there, and then everything else we got the green surrounding. And this white area would be the actual black area, but I didn't color it in there just to show it to you. And I think that's all my arm can take. But anyways, I wanted to show you that because this is how you design multicolor characters on the Commodore 64. It's really important to understand that bit manipulation. Of course, the editors will be using all that, kind of already does all that for you, but I figured from a lower level, you guys might want to know how that works. Now, these are just basically binary bits in a computer that are being calculated for the rows. Now, it's easier to put them as 1s and 0s so you can kind of see the multicolors. The 1s and the 0s are not going to help you add up the rows. That's what you use the top part for. So if you remember when you wanted to calculate it, for example, let's go back to that here again real quick. And I'll grab my little mouse here. I need to pause here. Again, I might need to pause. I had it over here earlier and I got it a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to hold this one more to arm's length. And yeah, I could really use that video capture device that Darren has right now, but my arm is getting tired. But I wanted to show you this. These are not going to calculate the rows. These are only to show you where the binary bits are falling at to represent, remember the 0s are just basically the background colors, and anything surrounding that for that bit is going to represent that multicolor in that area there. So the important thing is to know how to calculate these. You just take that row 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8. No 4 because that'll be the black area plus 2 plus 1. And you'll get that first result over here. I didn't calculate it here, but I could do that for you. Okay, so I surrendered defeat trying to hold that book up anymore and decided to finally use my camera and just capture some of this, which I should have already done from the beginning. But now we can get a better ideal side by side. Remember, we're still dealing with the same sprite. And I also turned off the character set here for a moment so that we could still see the pluses and the minuses since I changed all of those to show you exactly what's going on here. So if you take a look here, you'll see 128 over here, 128 plus 64 plus 64 plus 32 plus 32 plus 16 plus 16 plus 8 plus 8. Notice there's no 4 here because we're skipping over this section because we don't want to design this area. We're going to leave this black, so we skip over that. And then we're going to have plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. And then we can go over here. We can hit enter. And it'll give the result. So that first row would be 251. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down on my notes here so I can kind of keep a tally of it. So 251. Now the next row is very simple. If you look at it, it's exactly doing the same thing because we're just basically calculating 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 2 plus 1. So we can just set the first 1, 2, 3 rows to 251. We're going to do that right now. You can also follow along if you're going to do it on graph paper. I know it's old school, but this is the best way to learn. I mean, I started, with graph paper, and I highly encourage you to really get out some graph paper and learn if that's what it takes to really understand this. I mean, some going right into CVMPRG Studio and designing the graphics is not going to really teach you anything about how they really do it at the low level. And some people might argue, oh, okay, that isn't necessary since you've already got the editors. But for me, I always like to try to take an understanding of anything I'm taking upon. Otherwise, what's the point of moving forward if you're just allowing somebody else to throw the screen designs up there and never really understanding what's happening? So for me, that's the way I started, and that's the way I'm sticking for now. So the next row here, you notice we've got all zeros in it. These are the binary equivalent for nothing being placed there. You can just set a 0 in that row because we're not calculating anything. If you see all zeros, you can put a 0 on that line. The next line, we're going to be changing a little bit more of our data here. So we're going to go up here, and I'm going to slightly modify this as we go through it. So I'm going to erase all of this and bring it back here. So we got 128. Now look at this row. There's nothing in this row because we have a 0. So we skip over 64 for this row. So we skip over 64. The next row, we can see it has our 32 in it just like before. So here we're going to put in 32 and then plus again. And the next row, of course, has 16 in it. So we're going to say plus 16. And just so you follow the line where it goes to the top. The next row is going to be plus 8. The next row is going to be plus 4. The next row is going to be plus 2. And the next row is going to be plus 1. And then we can hit enter to get our new result. So 191 would be the new result for this row. Now we're also going to do this for the next 1, 2, 3 rows since all of these are the same since we're designing our wall around this basically. So we're going to do 191 3 times. And we're almost done with this one. We'll look at the bottom here. We've got zeros, all zeros again, so we can just put in a 0 again, and we're done with our first row there. And I'll hold it up just to show it to you for a second there. So this is the calculations I came up with, just like we did on the screen. 251, 251, 251, 0, 191, 191, 191, 0. And that completes our first graphic for our brick. So hopefully that makes sense on how to go ahead and do your own calculations. In BASIC, you have to also be able to insert them. And this program I have here allows you to do all that. It actually calculates them by the rows here. Right here, it reads in, let me turn off the little sprites here so you can see that. And then we've got this row right here. It says for x equals 0 to 7, read D, poke 2048 plus A times 8 plus x comma D. And then next, so it's basically going to go to 1020 here. Keep reading this line. So it says read. I should have started with this one. It's basically reading in the data until we're done to get all of our character design. And if we go down here a little further in the program, you'll see the character data here. It's right below the machine language. This is the machine language here at the top to redefine the character set. So right here, so we're basically saying, give me that first value. And we know it's going to be 35 in the actual character set. The 35 is actually the number sign or the shift 3 on your Commodore 64 keyboard. And I think that's the same on, it should be because I have it emulated like the Commodore 64 keyboard. And then after that, you saw the 251, 251, 251, 0, 191, 191, 191, 0. So the very first graphic there is the one you saw on the screen here. Now, what I think we're going to try to do is have some fun with this maybe a little bit. Let's kind of spice this up a little bit and see if we can throw in another row maybe here or something to see if we can kind of generate some different values here. So we could basically go ahead and alter this value right here, the 64 row. By taking out the 64 and the 64 here, we could probably come up with a newer graphic here. So let me kind of play with that here. This is what I wanted to do in this video, by the way, guys. I wanted to kind of play with some character sets and kind of see what kind of designs we can come up with and everything. So as we go through the row here, we're going to basically take the 251 and we're going to subtract. Since we're taking out the 64 here, we could just basically subtract 32 or subtract 64. In this case, I think I'm going to do the 32. So we'll just subtract it from 32. So take 251 minus 32 since we're taking out that section. And it becomes 219. So we could basically take these first 3 lines and set them to 219 like that to get a different result. So if you look at the line again, you have this. So we took the 251 and replaced it, subtracted 32 from it to get our 219, and let's run it again. And then we'll look at our new graphic, and it should have a new line down here for the row, and then you'll see the new color appear over here, just like we learned about the multicolor, because we have the 1 and the 0 side by side here. You probably won't see it here because it's probably pretty tiny, assuming that we did everything correctly here. So I can see it there already by looking at the design. You can see it's a little bit different there. So we're going to multicolor. I think we'll set the blue this time. I think it's 7. Whoops, I just cleared my screen or I did something there. Hold on a second. Okay, it actually reran the game. One of these keys is shortcutting and running the program again here. Anyways, let's go down here. We'll look at the standard. Well, actually, there's the multicolor. So I wanted to set it to 7, I think it is, to get the blue. Yeah, that's what we already have right there. Now, we can't see it yet, so I'm going to zoom into it. And I think we just created another color. Almost looks like another color. You probably can't see it, but we created and generated a new color here. Right side by side. It's kind of a little bit lighter color here. So if we see it, maybe if we did more than one, you might see it there. You can kind of see it there. It's kind of giving an effect on the wall there and everything. Let's try it in a different color here. I could be wrong. It may have not created a new color. Let's look at it another way and see if we can. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it's just my eyes tricking me, but it almost looks like another color. But I wanted to show that to you because that's how we create the multicolor in here and get the different designs. Now, the thing is here, I'm going to go ahead next and I'm going to, I think before we do this real importantly, I'm going to go back and pull up my Word document here so we can kind of clarify what we're talking about here once again. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. This is what I was showing you earlier in the book in case you didn't see it. The zeros and zeros are the off positions that we see in graphics. So if there's nothing in that area, it's just going to be zeros, and it's just going to maintain the background color. This is the one we're playing with for the wall. You see the yellow color there? We have it set to yellow here. We can change it by changing the keys. As we use the tab key and press numbers, we get different colors, for example. And that's only going to be in standard. Oops. Lost my position there for a minute. But anyways, so we got the zeros and the ones. Those are going to be colors. And then we got the ones and the zeros and their own separate colors and ones here. So if I go here and I press another key, that's the standard color. Now if we shift, so we hold the control key and we press the number 2, that's going to activate that color. We hit the number key, we get a new color there. And I'm almost certain that looks like another color. Maybe I'm just deceiving my eyes, but it almost looks like a third color in here somehow. Because it's going to give you up to 4 colors, 0 through 3, the background being the screen color and everything else being the actual colors. So as you press the control keys, you're going to get different colors. You'll see as I continue to press them, I get different colors by playing with the screen data there already. So I'll go over here and we'll go down the line. We'll use a 7, and we got the blue, 8, and we got different colors there. So you can kind of see all the colors that's being generated on the screen at the same time there. So, okay. So there's also other colors I have built into here. So if I go ahead and I play with them here, here's another color I have. Oops. Other colors. So if I go in here and I play with those, I could see that we have other different, I think it might be right there. Yeah, there's a color right there, for example. Oh, and then they're down here. There's some right here. There's the ladder, for example. So if we wanted to see, here's another color I have. And if we just go ahead and we press the control keys again, we get that color. Remember, if you're using the tab key, you're only going to get those standard colors, and it's going to turn off all those background colors. Now, standard is good because you can set standard kind of in the background, and it kind of creates more of a background effect, and then kind of use multicolors for the foreground to kind of give more of a three-dimensional look to your games and stuff like that. So that's essentially how multicolor works in a nutshell. So I'll show you some of the other designs I have in here. So let me see here. I'm playing with this a little bit. Oh, I still got it on standard. Let me switch it back to multicolor here. So we got this one. And keep changing out the multicolor. You can see the different colors. Let me enlarge the screen so I can show it to you a little bit better there as we're playing with it a little bit. And then we got this one. There's the ladder. That one. You got this underscore one. Just different ones I've been playing with. This is one I kind of created. And I had one here for the top wall somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. When I was kind of designing the ceiling parts. Of course, now I can't remember where they are. And these are redefined characters for those who want to know. So we're basically going in and we're just altering the character set to our liking and what we want it to look like and such. I think that might be one. Just playing with them here to see if I can find what I'm looking for. So I could probably still play with some of those other graphics, but yeah, hopefully you get the idea of character graphics and all that. And of course, when we set them side by side, as you saw the picture earlier, we can get a really nice looking result, you know, and everything. So that's the cool thing about playing with the background characters is, and put them side by side, is you can create some pretty cool multicolors. And we could go in here, we could design our own, for example, if we wanted to, but I just thought I would show that to you guys to see if you guys can just start coming up with your own stuff and whatever, and learn a little bit more about multicolor. So I hope this video was a little bit more clear to you. I think I am probably going to just come up with one, for example. Oh, I just now found the other ones are on the back here, so they're on the back of my graph paper right there. So this kind of represents the ceiling for that cavern that I want to make for the spelunker. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to come up with the graphic and be right back here. Okay, so I just created the new graphic here. So if I'm pressing the, I don't know what that is, the square bracket key there, you can kind of see the new graphic coming in there. And this one you might be able to see more than one color. Let me see, other than the two colors there. I think there are multiple colors. And it might be because of the options I have set here or something that's not getting me the full multicolor. If somebody knows about it, just go ahead and throw a comment, because it looks like it's getting some kind of color, but it's, when you put them side by side, you can kind of see more. But anyways, as I continue to play with them, you can see there's a green there. And then we have like a little yellowish there. Put like a red on it, or whitish. And then we got like a purple, or there's the red right there. I'm just going Commodore key after Commodore key there to show you. So let's go ahead and take a look at that line here. I'm just going to turn off the character set for a minute so we can see it, and then switch to standard mode there. And it's 2042. So this is the new graphic that we created. And since I haven't copied it, I just wanted to show you on the screen here. So this is the one I just created you saw earlier. And you can see the rows there, 219, 219, 51, 51, 51, 51, 0, 24, 219, 219. You can kind of see how the squares are separated. I separated them that way because remember we learned about the bits earlier, about the zeros and the ones being side by side, to see if we could come up with additional multicolors. So that's how you can kind of get multicolor going on your screen, and how you can, you know, just start designing your own little worlds, put them side by side. And now to end this video, we'll get to the point here is, not much too much there. This is the project that we're all working on, and we'll be working on tonight, of course. And I wanted to show you the character editor I have already in here that hopefully we're going to be learning tonight here. And this is where you can go in here and you can edit the multicolor. So as you press here, it'll alter that character, and then we can basically save it, and I'll show you the screen as it's saved here. It'll tell you to save it or not. I'm just going to say no here. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to open it up over here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the map. This is what I was working on, kind of as a design. Now you have to turn on the multicolor here by loading it in here, and you just load character set, and right there, and open. And you can see this is the background that I kind of created for an environment, so to speak. So as we learned about it, these are basically setting the different characters, and I think this might be in standard mode here. Let me see. Oh, I got to turn on the multicolor. So you go up here to screen, mode, and multicolor. There we go. Now you can see the different white color on the brown here. So if I press like a, I don't know which key that is. Oh, you select them over here. I'm sorry. So you select them over here like this, for example. And as I put them on the screen here, you can kind of see the different colors side by side. And you can kind of go in here and you can flip the colors around here. I could set this to a different color, and it'll instantly, it's not going to change all of them. It's only going to change that one as you saw me demonstrate earlier over here on the screen. And it'll instantly allow me to go in and start changing those new characters since they're defined for their own memory area. I could change this to like a green. Then we could set like a green around it or something like that. And yeah, additionally, this is how you kind of create your own little graphics on the screen. And we'll basically work on creating a map out of this. But I wanted to show you in here first so that we could, you know, eventually get them in the character map. Now, what we're going to be trying to do, of course, tonight is trying to get these uploaded and see them on the screen. Now, I do have this kind of working part way, but it's not working exactly correct. So I don't get no errors here. It loads in the background, but it doesn't define the character colors right here for some reason. You can kind of see it loaded in the background, but it's not picking up. It's just not positioning them right, and the colors are not showing up and all that. So I need to load in the color memory and all that. But that's what we're going to be doing. We'll be moving forward tonight, getting the screens. We've also got people to kind of go back on that here, and let me just pause it. So we've also got people that's going to be doing the sprites and the animation. I think that was Darren. And then Bo's going to be working on some of the physics. And of course, Sig is working on some of the character, the background collision. So I think we're going to have a really cool time tonight. And we're going to really push this thing really fast ahead. But hopefully it doesn't go too fast for you guys. But at the same time, this is a project and we're still going to try to accomplish it in as much time as we can. Still trying to bring people on the team. If you want to join, just come and check us out. So I'll probably just mark this video machine language project 4 or whatever we want to call it at this point. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little session and definitely see us here tonight. It'll be at 10:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for the machine language project. Don't miss out. This is going to get really good. I'm really excited now because Sig, I mean, and just the other people we have on the team here are bringing together a lot of really interesting talent. And I think the more people we bring, the faster and the really coolest things we can create for this project moving forward. Somebody mentioned something about, wanting to bring somebody on that's, is skilled with music and stuff like that in the SID chip or whatever. So I'd be interested in talking with him. But again, if you want to just drop in the chat, I'll drop it out there tonight. You can just go ahead and hop in. And if you can't get in, just go to the Facebook page and let me know you're having trouble because I'll keep an eye on that. And we'll get you all connected tonight. So I don't want anybody missing out. 10:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Don't miss it. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching this channel. Please definitely subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate all your feedback, your comments and everything, and just trying to move this series forward. It's really hard promoting, like I said, a 20-year-old computer here and trying to get people's interest in it because a lot of people have moved on from that, of course. But I believe in the old technology, and I'm old school as it gets, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching, as always.